Investing. You ever notice how the word investing sounds a lot like infesting? Folks think their money's gonna multiply like roaches in a rundown apartment. But let me tell ya, most people wouldn't know a good investment if it sat on their face and wiggled. You see, folks are scared, man. Scared of numbers, scared of banks, scared of that mysterious thing they call the market. I say, stop right there. You know what rich people and smart people have in common? They both like taking your money. And don't get me started on saving for the future. Yes, the future, a mystical land where we somehow have more money and we're not still paying off our student loans, credit card debt, or that timeshare in Florida you thought was a good idea. But here's the kicker. The sooner you get past your own BS and understand the basics of investing, the sooner you can join the ranks of people who have their money work for them instead of them working for money. So sit tight, stop thinking about your next Amazon purchase, and let's take a journey through Investing 101. You know what they say, the early bird gets the worm. But in the world of investing, the early bird doesn't just get a worm, it gets a whole freaking buffet. You ever hear of something called compounding? No, it's not something you do in chemistry class or at some hippie commune. It's the idea that your money earns money and then that money earns more money and so on. It's like a financial snowball, only less cold and more lucrative. Now let's say you start investing at 25. You put away $300 a month in a decent fund that gives you a 7% annual return. By the time you're 65, you'd have close to $1 million. Yeah, you heard me, $1 million. Now let's say you're a procrastinator, a late bloomer, I'll do it tomorrow kind of guy or gal. You start at 35 with the same $300 a month and 7% return. Well, guess what? By 65, you'd have around $500,000, half as much just because you started 10 years later. You'll see the difference. That's not pocket change, my friends. That's the price of indecision and delay. It's like the universe's late fee, and trust me, the universe doesn't negotiate. So stop telling yourself that you'll invest when you have more money or when you're ready. Because guess what, hotshot? The clock is ticking, and it doesn't give a damn about your feelings. So you've decided to dive into this financial cesspool. Well, you better learn to swim. And to do that, you need to understand the lingo. You see, Wall Street loves acronyms and jargon. It's like a secret club with a secret handshake, except instead of a handshake, they just take your money. First off, stocks. Ah, yes, the bread and butter of the American dream. A stock is essentially a piece of a company. You own it, you get a slice of the pie. The pie might grow or it might shrink, or it might give you food poisoning. Then there's bonds. No, not James Bond. These are IOUs from the government or companies. They're saying, hey, lend us some cash and we'll pay you back with a little extra. It's like loaning money to a friend, except that the government is way more likely to pay you back. Now, let's talk mutual funds. This is where a bunch of people throw their money into a pot and a so-called expert decides where to invest it. It's like a betting pool, but for nerds. Last but not least, ETFs or exchange-traded funds. Think of it like a playlist of stocks and bonds. Instead of buying one song, you're getting a mixtape. So you've picked up some of the lingo and you're feeling like a big shot, eh? Hold your horses. Knowing a few terms doesn't make you Warren Buffett. Hell, being Warren Buffett doesn't even make you Warren Buffett. That guy has more money than some countries. But let's get you off the sidelines. First stop, the 401k. Your company's attempt at making you believe they care about your future. You put in some money, they match a bit of it, and it's tax deferred, meaning Uncle Sam can't touch it. Then we have the Roth IRA. This is like a 401k's younger, cooler sibling. You pay taxes now, but you withdraw it tax-free when you retire. It's like eating your dessert first, in case you don't live long enough for the main course. And if you're a lone wolf, there's always the individual brokerage account. This is the Wild West of investing. No tax advantages, no hand-holding, just you, your money, and the merciless void of the stock market. But whatever you do, don't just stuff your money in a mattress or a regular savings account where inflation will eat it alive. That's like storing your lunch next to a pack of hyenas. Risk and reward, the yin and yang of the financial world. It's like a bad relationship. Can't have one without the other. You see, higher risk usually means higher rewards, but it also means you could lose big. Imagine going to Vegas and putting all your chips on black. Sure, you might double up, but you might also walk away with zilch, nada, nothing. That's why you've got stocks and bonds. Stocks are like your wild friend who knows all the cool clubs, high energy, high potential, but can get you into a whole lot of trouble. Bonds, on the other hand, are like your grandma dependable, a bit boring, and not likely to set the world on fire. Most financial advisors will tell you to diversify, meaning don't put all your eggs in one basket. But let's be honest, if you're relying on a single stock to fund your retirement, you might as well just buy lottery tickets. And if you're thinking of timing the market, getting in low, getting out high, just remember, even the so-called experts screw that up. You're more likely to predict the next reality TV star than time the market correctly. So, rule of thumb, don't get greedy, don't be foolish, and for heaven's sake, don't think you're smarter than the system, because the house, my friends, always wins. Asset allocation. Doesn't that sound like something you'd hear at a snobby dinner party where everyone's wearing tuxedos and discussing the merits of vintage wine? But relax, it's just a fancy way to say don't put all your money in one place. Look here, this pie chart is like your financial life, a slice for stocks, a slice for bonds, maybe a slice for real estate if you're into that sort of thing. It's like a financial pizza, except no one's fighting over the last piece. The idea is to have a mix of stuff, some high risk, some low risk, and maybe some that are as stable as your grandma's meatloaf recipe. Now, how you slice this pie depends on your age, your risk tolerance, and how much you enjoy financial indigestion. Younger folks can afford to be riskier, more stocks, fewer bonds. But as you age, you might want to be more conservative, just like your views on loud music and teenagers. Asset allocation is not a set it and forget it kind of thing. It's more like a relationship. You have to check in, see how things are doing, maybe rearrange the furniture every now and then, because believe me, things change. Your lovely tech stock today could be tomorrow's dumpster fire. So don't just wing it. Be deliberate, be diversified, and for the love of all that's holy, don't just buy something because some guy on TV said it's the next big thing. All right, now that you've got a clue about what to invest in, let's talk about how you're going to do it. Strategy, my friends, this ain't a game of checkers. It's more like 3D chess played underwater with sharks. First up, there's buy and hold. This is the tortoise strategy. Slow and steady, buy some decent stocks or funds and just sit on them. Forget about them. Let them marinate like a good steak. Then you have active trading. This is for you adrenaline junkies. Buy, sell, trade, rinse, and repeat. But let me warn you, this strategy is not for the faint of heart or the light of wallet. Commissions and fees will eat you alive faster than piranhas on a meatloaf. And don't forget about dollar cost averaging. This is like putting your investments on a monthly subscription like Netflix, but hopefully with better long-term benefits. You invest a fixed amount at regular intervals, rain or shine. Takes the guesswork out of it. Lastly, there's dividend investing. This is for people who love seeing checks in the mail. You invest in companies that pay you back a small piece every now and then. It's like having a kid who actually pays their allowance. So, what's the best strategy? Well, that's like asking, what's the best ice cream flavor? It depends on your taste, your tolerance for risk, and how fast you want to either make a fortune or go bankrupt. But whatever you pick, remember, investing isn't a sprint, it's a marathon. Unless you trip and fall right at the start line, in which case it's just kind of sad. So you've got some strategies, you know about asset allocation, and you're itching to jump into the investing pool. But wait, don't dive in without checking for rocks, or sharks for that matter. Research, folks, it's not just for term papers and stalking your ex on social media. If you're going to invest, you've got to do your homework. First, there's fundamental analysis. Do you dig deep into a company's finances, leadership, market, and so on? It's like going on a date and asking for a CV, 3 references, and a blood sample. Then there's technical analysis. This one's for the chart lovers. You study price patterns, moving averages, all kinds of squiggly lines that look like a toddler's doodle, but supposedly mean something. You can also look into sentiment analysis. This is like taking the temperature of the room. What are people saying? What's the buzz? Just remember, just because a stock is the talk of the town doesn't mean it's not full of hot air. And don't forget the value of good old common sense. If a company's CEO just got arrested for fraud, or if they're selling ice to Eskimos, you might want to steer clear. But whatever you do, do something. Don't just rely on tips from your Uncle Bob, who swears he's got the inside scoop, unless Uncle Bob is Warren Buffett, in which case, can I get an introduction? Mistakes. Life's way of saying, hey, you're not as smart as you think you are. And let me tell you, when it comes to investing, the road is paved with good intentions and bad decisions. Mistake number 1, following the herd. Yeah, if everyone's jumping off a financial cliff, it must be a good idea, right? Mistake number 2, overconfidence. Look, we all think we're the smartest person in the room, but unless you're in a room full of mirrors, chances are you're not. Mistake number 3, timing the market. Trying to buy low and sell high is great, but most people end up buying high and selling low. It's like trying to catch a falling knife with your eyes closed. Mistake number 4, ignoring fees. Those little percentages may look small, but over time they eat away at your profits like termites on a wooden leg. And mistake number 5, emotional investing. This ain't a soap opera, folks. Don't get emotionally attached to a stock. It doesn't love you back. All right, that's my 2 cents on the mistakes to avoid. Well, folks, we've come to the end of our little journey through the mad, mad world of investing. I hope you've learned something, or at least had a good laugh, probably at others' expense, which is the best kind of laugh, let's be honest. Let's recap, shall we? Start early, diversify your assets, pick a strategy, do your research, and for the love of money, avoid dumb mistakes. Sounds simple, right? Just like assembling furniture from IKEA. If all of this seems daunting, don't worry. Remember, the best time to start investing was 20 years ago. The second best time, today or tomorrow morning, if you've had a few too many tonight. And if you end up fabulously wealthy, remember the little people. By which I mean invest in a good tax lawyer. Otherwise, the IRS will remember you. In the end, investing isn't just about money. It's about your future, your security, and buying that yacht you've always wanted just to find out you get seasick easily. But remember, folks, it's all a game. Sometimes you win, sometimes you learn, and sometimes you scream into the void, questioning all your life choices. Thanks for tuning in. If you like this guide, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more life lessons you probably won't hear anywhere else. Good luck, and may your profits be ever in your favor.